I'm a big board game nerd. For Kelly and I, a couple drinks and a board game is the ideal Friday night. And if we can talk a couple buddies into playing too, even better. It's so interesting to me seeing the different mechanics, art, and themes that designers were able to bring to life from the cardboard. And a game that has really captivated me lately is Gloomhaven. It's about as nerdy as you can get. It's a cooperative dungeon crawler. So you're working together with other players against the game. It essentially boils down to a card-driven puzzle game with some really interesting systems and unique classes. One of my favorite mechanics is the element tokens, but I think the physical implementation of it kind of sucks. You're constantly moving the tokens up and down, which is really fidgety and a pain. Not to mention when you accidentally bump it and the pieces go everywhere. So I decided to make one out of wood, and somewhat like the graphic on the cardboard was going for. I picked up a piece of bloodwood, which is really hard wood, and I thought would mill well. It was far from flat, so I first surfaced the backside. The dust from the bloodwood kind of reminded me of the red dust planet from Star Wars. I was picturing a Mancala type board with cups that you could slide the tokens in and out of. In Aspire, I drew a side profile of the cups and extruded it along the x-axis. The first part of the milling is a 3D roughing pass, which removes as much of the material as possible while leaving a small tolerance. I switched over to a 1/2-inch round nose to do the 3D finishing pass. I found that when I'm doing a back and forth 3D finishing pass like this, when it hits the ends, it causes the bit to judder a small amount, which puts groove lines into the wood. To help with that, I wanted to try first doing a profile pass on the ends to remove that wood, which I hoped would keep it running smoother. Ball nose bits aren't the greatest at removing large amounts of material, so I ran it nice and slow for this part, but then cranked it up for the small step over passes. I was happy with the finish in the cups. I switched over to a V-bit to do the V carving. A feature I really liked in Aspire is being able to project vectors onto the 3D model. So in this case, the V carving in the cups follows the contour and has a constant depth. I also V-carved the element icons on the top of the board. Lastly, I profiled the perimeter of the board, cutting it free. I gave it a coat of linseed oil. Now that I had a nice wooden board to play on, I couldn't play anymore with the old cardboard pieces. I wanted to upgrade the tokens as well. In Photoshop, I imported the icons and scaled them to size. I thought it would look nice to give them a slight texture, so I overlaid a bitmap and sent it to the printer. I punched them out with a 1-inch circle cutter. I found some cool antique bronze trays and glass cabochons at the craft store, which I thought would be perfect for this. I put a small dab of Mod Podge on each and set the cabochon in place. There were lots of air bubbles in between the glue and the glass, which I worked outwards, and then set a bag clip on each while it dried. I made another version of the board with the round tracker around the outside. I don't think the round tracker is used in Jaws of the Lion, but it is used in the full version of Gloomhaven. I also made it out of walnut, which I think I liked better actually. I really liked how the tokens turned out, and it's fun for me mixing in some arts and crafts to my projects. I made a few extra boards and token sets, which I'll throw up on my Etsy page that I have linked below if there's interest. I don't know, I'm guessing the Venn diagram crossover of the people that watch me weld on this channel and also play Gloomhaven is going to be pretty small. But who knows? There might be a couple nerds out there like me.